now 17. He speaks way a lot more than most teenagers, I think. Robin can attest to that. But what it started was this curiosity from a brand new place, because what I had when I was young just did not fit. It was one of the reasons why I sort of kind of just gave that up in my 20s. So I started reading all of these books on spirituality, on human growth, and sort of higher development. And as I was doing that, I was going through graduate school to become a therapist. So it sort of fit. But, you know, as therapists, we sort of have this idea where we kind of leave our personal beliefs behind, and we're supposed to be there right with the client and whatever. And that's great. And it works beautifully. And, but I wanted to kind of meld these two. So along that path, I met Robin. And she was sort of reading the same things and thinking some of the same ways. And we talked a lot throughout the years. And then lo and behold, we were at a training. We trained therapists in EMDR. And we just started talking, and we were just thinking the same things. We were using a little bit of different language, but right there in that red hot moment, I feel like that's when Connected Heart was created, almost the day 3 years ago. And so I'm so excited to be sort of switching gears and be on what I think is the next phase of my personal journey, which is being able to talk about all of the things I've learned and bring it to people in a different way than maybe you would get if you saw me one-on-one in my office. So Robin, I don't know if you have anything to add.
Yeah, I mean, that's all true. And I'll go ahead and share a little bit about my own story. Like Wendy, I just as a child, we had very different childhoods, and this is something as therapists we obviously analyze and pick apart and talk about all the time. But it's really cool to kind of look at our differences and then how we've, you know, ended up in this really deep connection. So as far as the sort of psychology, spirituality piece, we were both finding that in our own personal lives and wanting to sort of marry the two. And I grew up with, I feel really lucky, but with two parents who were both really connected to the divine, I'll call it, you know, to their own intuitive connection to, you know, their guidance systems and something greater. And so I really had that guidance as a child. And, you know, even with that though, I say that part of me took a back seat at some point in my life. You know, you get busy with all the life things, as everybody knows, you know, whatever it is, job, career. For me, it was going to college and starting a career, and then was getting married and having babies. And while all these things were really wonderful, and none of them are, you know, anything that I regret, at some point I found myself realizing that I wasn't living in alignment with who I really was. And of course, when this first started coming into my awareness, I couldn't have said it that eloquently. You know, it's more like it just felt like dissatisfaction and frustration and irritation and anxiety and sadness and depression, you know, all of those things. So I didn't know what was wrong. And I felt like because I had all of the things that are supposed to make you happy, and I'd done the things, I was like, well, something must be wrong with me, you know, because I'm just not feeling happy or grateful. So that kind of threw me into a crisis, right? Like an existential crisis, or like trying to figure out, well, what's going on, and really going deeper into my own personal. I was a therapist I think already at that point, or was studying. And so that threw me deeper into my own personal healing and trying to figure out, you know, what was going on. And this was a long journey. This was years. And fast forward to my, 20s, 30s, I was living with my husband and my 2 kids in the suburbs, and nothing was wrong, quote unquote wrong, but I was not, I wasn't fulfilled. And so I finally came to a point of finding the strength to do something. And there's a long story there, but the short of it is I got a divorce, and it was terrifying. And I started, I had my career, but I had never supported myself. That had never happened. So that was part of the fear for me. And then of course, just breaking up the family and what that would do, and my children, et cetera. But I got the divorce, and that was actually right around the time that Wendy and I were came together and Connected Heart. We started creating Connected Heart. So while none of it has been, easy, I would say I definitely am in a place of living my truth every day, and feeling alive. I didn't feel very alive before. And I joke with Wendy that sometimes I feel a little too alive. It's a little too much sometimes, but I'm grateful to feel alive. And I want to just say before we move into talking about Connected Heart that, and I know Wendy feels this too, it's our clients, our career, that I feel so deeply grateful for the opportunity to sit with people, because that's really, and hear their stories and try to guiding them to their truth is really what how that organically became a part of how I live my life, right? Because I don't feel like you can do that if you're not living it. And so that to me just feels like such a gift to have been able to be invited into people's lives, has totally enriched and changed mine. So we want to expand beyond our offices and bring what we've learned to more people, to you guys. I'll turn it back over to you, Wendy, to
Sure. Yeah.
Talk about.
Well, it's so exciting to be introducing Connected Heart, because I feel like, again, it's sort of our dream, and it wouldn't have been possible without the years of experience that we had sitting with our clients and watching their stories and watching and seeing some patterns that we started seeing and understanding at a deeper level. And today we want to talk about one of the bigger principles of Connected Heart, which is what we call heart knowing. Because we started to see different patterns. And one of the things that we saw, and we've sort of coined this term, it's our term, but you guys, we'd love it if you use it. But that people lose certain aspects of themselves throughout their life. And this is what kind of blocks them from creating resiliency within themselves, from finding that path of fulfillment that's bigger, that sort of feels like I'm living my fullest life that I can. Not that there's not going to be roadblocks, but part of resilience, you can't have resilience without adversity. One, you have to have one to have the other. So we always have it. But we want to just introduce to you the ideas of heart knowing, and I'm just going to read them out. Heart knowing is our natural state of well-being, worthiness, and freedom. So those are some of our principles. We believe that you come in with with these knowings. Well-being is the knowing that you're ultimately safe and can move through the world without fear. Worthiness is the knowing that you are deserving of all that life has to offer. And freedom is the knowing of our total responsibility of our choices. I think freedom is the hardest one to be okay with, and that's my struggle maybe, but that's the one that hurts me the most. Because it's the idea that even if we're in the worst situation, that we still have some choice over how we manage that situation. We still have choice over how we react to it. So it was our experience watching our clients that when we were able to sort of get the roadblocks out of the way, people were able to regain one or all of these pieces that they had sort of been missing. And through just our experiences, it became sort of the idea that the body kind of naturally knows how to heal and return to this kind of natural state. And I think if you think about a little baby, then you would agree, kind of, yeah, they come in with these kinds of inherent kinds of knowings, and through life they kind of lose them. So we want to talk to you guys about how we lose them. Robin, did you have anything to add before we move on?
Maybe just that, the connected heart in itself is a journey to resilience, and the sort of overall goal of the journey is this return to heart knowing. So we're introducing the goal of the overall journey, and there's a whole lot of things that you walk through on the journey to get there, but just trying to give them a sort of overall understanding. I think that covers it.
Yeah.
Are we going into ACEs?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So we were supposed to have a video to show you that it's not working. So bear
it's working, but you can't hear it, so that's a problem.
We're gonna do
we're gonna be the video.
Yeah. Okay. So I think you and I are gonna have to go back and forth here and just.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
So, do you want me to start?
Go ahead. Go for it.
Okay. So, how do we lose our heart knowing, right? What we know, what the science teaches us is it's really through difficult moments and the way that our biology stores difficult moments. And as we sort of walk through life, the challenges that we face sometimes are too big for our bodies to sort of absorb or digest. And so they get stuck. I kind of explain it like that time, that I dropped the cake at the birthday party, and then I was 5, and so now I'm bad. So we go through and we have these life experiences, and we make meaning about them, about ourselves, about the world. And so we lose that sense of worthiness, and it's replaced with shame, or we lose that sense of well-being, and it's replaced with fear or depression. And it starts to look like all these things, but really it's through these life experiences that we've had. And the science shows us that. We know the more adversity you've had, the more it not only affects your mental health, but your physical health and your relational health and your spiritual health and all the rest. And so as science has kind of progressed, we've now figured out that we can change the way that information is stored. We can change the way that those patterns lay down for us. And so that was really exciting, because we want to tell everyone, hey, this can change.
Yeah, and I'll just add a few points that every day we have these triggers, and a lot of the time, like Wendy was saying, I think whether it's, someone upsets you, out on the road, or your, child does something at dinner that, makes you feel frustrated or angry. A lot of the time we think of these sort of everyday triggers as just our reactions to them as sort of part of our personality. And we're not, and so we think that there's no way to change, or we just have to learn coping skills in order to deal with what's happening. And what the science shows us, what Wendy is talking about, is that this really isn't necessarily part of our personality. These are neural networks. These are patterns in our brain that have laid down, like Wendy was talking about, from repeated life experiences. So we at Connected Heart, what we help you do is create an OS memory map, which is old stuff memories.
Or sometimes old shit.
Yeah.
Depending on your mood.
Whichever one you're more comfortable with.
Works both ways.
So we teach about OS. So these are OS memory systems in action when you're triggered. So we teach you how to identify your OS memory systems and then how to start shifting them. I think that probably covers.
Yeah.
So we teach how we get blocked. How we get.
Go ahead.
That's it. I was going to say that So that's sort of an overview of how we disconnect from our heart knowing life experiences. And then we're looking to start to understand our OS memory systems so that we then are taking back the power to create change and reconnect back to our heart knowing. Do you want to add anything? We'll move
No,
on.
I think that's good. You got it.
Okay. So we'll move on. That was our attempt at doing our video.
That was our video.
Yeah. The video is
it had cute cartoons.
Yeah. Okay. So heart knowing truths. We have created the heart knowing truths, and these are really statements like affirmations. Some of you may have worked with affirmations before, and we aren't saying that affirmations are going to solve the issue, but they're a great step at being able to try to reconnect back to the essence of each heart knowing truth. So we're just going to take a minute now to ask you guys to, if you like, close your eyes or just take a minute to kind of slow your pace and turn your attention inward. And we're just going to read them out loud to you and have you just notice what that's like when you hear the truth. So you might notice a thought, you might notice a feeling, a sensation in your body. And this is all just information. It might be like a positive response to the truth. It might be something that feels like not so positive of a response. And all of that is totally fine, because what you're doing is just observing your experience of the truth. And after we go through those, we'll move into the well-being. We have 3 heart-knowing meditations, and we'll move into sharing the well-being meditation with you guys tonight. So you can go a little bit deeper into the well-being truth. So taking a moment and notice the well-being truth. I am safe and can move through the world without fear. So just notice that, and then take a moment. You can say it out again to yourself silently and notice how that feels. And then taking a deep breath and letting go. And now noticing the worthiness truth. I'm completely deserving of all that life has to offer. And now taking a moment to say that again inside your mind and notice how that feels. And now noticing the freedom truth. I accept my complete freedom through ownership of my choices. Just notice and repeating that one to yourself. And this is something too that you can journal about now, later, just noticing what your reactions to the truths were. And Wendy, you want to move into the heart meditation, well-being? Do you want to do it? Do you want me to do it?
I can do it.
Okay.
So throughout the Connected Heart journey, we give you different meditations. This is one of them. It's one of our favorite. It's one of the 3 heart-knowing meditations. So just like Robin said, just get comfortable, kind of relax in your body. Whatever comes up is just what comes up. And I'm going to just walk you through this meditation. I'm going to turn my phone off so it doesn't beep. So just kind of get relaxed in your chair. And it's important not to limit your mind. Just let your mind go. Sometimes something will come in. Sometimes you'll just listen to my voice. Whatever comes in is just fine. Just allow it to come in with curiosity. And so just start to slow your pace and turn your attention inward and start to notice your breath. And bring your attention to your body and this present moment. And say the well-being, heart-knowing truth. I am safe and can move through the world without fear. Place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly, and take one normal deep breath in and out. Deepening your breath, breathe in, taking all the air all the way into your lungs and all the way down, filling up your belly and releasing. And for the next 3 breaths, you're going to breathe in for a count of 5, hold for a count of 3, and then release for 5. On the next breath in, I will count with you. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, 1, 2, 3, and release, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for the next 2 breaths, just do that on your own. And then just continue to breathe naturally. Bring your mind to the well-being truth. I am safe and can move through the world without fear. As you breathe in the words, you feel every cell of your body receiving them. I am safe and can move through the world without fear. Repeat that truth to yourself and allow your body to absorb it. I am safe and can move through the world without fear. And now imagine a sacred tree in front of you. The tree is majestic and feels familiar, as though you belong here with this tree and always have. You notice the expansiveness of the tree's roots. It's massive and it has branches far out beyond the limbs and the canopy above it. You are drawn to sit amongst the roots, and so you move to sit at the base of the solid trunk. You feel the roots beneath you, and you begin to feel a sense of security and comfort, as though you are being fully enveloped and protected. You notice the deep connection between the roots and the earth. The earth provides the roots with stability and security. As you sit here, connected to the roots and the earth, you feel stability and security being provided to you as well. Any loss of connection to your well-being is restored. You welcome this healing and the gift of knowing that you are safe and secure and completely protected. Now, holding this feeling of well-being, notice what it feels like and allow yourself to fully embody it. And now, imagine yourself moving through the world completely safe and without fear. Imagine this experience of well-being spreading beyond you to the people around you, to your family members, your friends, your coworkers. See it expanding beyond you and extending to the animals, the earth, the sky. See it spreading out and reaching the entire planet, wrapping the globe in this experience. When you feel complete, take as much time as you want. Just take a moment to say thanks for the experience. And if you want, you can journal afterwards about what that was like.
So just taking your time to kind of move from the space of your meditation back into the present, and just notice the transition of returning back to the Zoom call and noticing the difference and what you're bringing with you in the transition. And I think that brings us to wrapping the end of our presentation. We have a free ebook So this is one of our meditations, and this is just one sort of tiny piece of the journey. This is one of our tools. A lot of the journey is about discovering your blocks and going deeper into those. And so we do have a free ebook on heart knowing that takes you deeper into that. And if you'd like a copy, you can post your email in the chat. Our website is not complete yet. So if you'd like a copy of the ebook, post your email. We can send you that, and we can send you our website as well. And we thank you guys for receiving the message.
Yeah, and also in the ebook is a fun survey on how connected you are to your heart knowing. So,
well, thank you.
Everyone loves surveys. Thanks, Stephanie.
Thank you, Robin and Wendy. And we're going to see some chats come in. This is a very chatty audience, just so you know. So go ahead and capture those emails. But I know I'm already more calm, if anyone can see and feel that. So I want to thank you. And thank you guys all for being here. Sarah's coming up to share her story as well. But I hope that, we can take these moments to find our freedom in life and be able to pass that on, especially during these times, and find that inner peace. So thank you again, Robin and Wendy, for all that you did for us.
You're so welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
All right, so I do want to introduce Sara Boykan. Many of you already know Sara. Sara has been in Isagenix for over 6 years and just absolutely incredible transformations. She came to us for a reason. I'm going to let her share her story, but check out some of these pictures and what she has done. She's just an amazing person. She's willing to give it all. She's also a counselor. So I wanted to pair her with Robin and Wendy so that they can share their inner strength with you. And we each have the techniques that they continue to use and share every single day and week. So Sara, I'm going to bring you on. And if you can share your story, please.
Sure. And I want to say, Robin and Wendy, thank you so much. That was incredible. If you guys love those types of exercises and you're connected with me on Facebook, or even if you're not, every Wednesday at noon Pacific Standard Time, I do a mindful meditation. I know Stephanie can attest that she has been on those. And yeah, so a little bit about me. Steph, do you want to pull up the slides, or do I have control over that?
Yeah, no, I did. And I did go through them already, but let me bring them up again.
Okay, sorry about that.
Oh, no worries.
So as Steph had told you guys, that's my beautiful family. My son Phoenix is about to be 3 next week. I can't believe it. A little bit about my story. I am a licensed professional counselor, and 6 years ago, I was a full-time child and family therapist working in Arizona. I had at that time 68 kiddos on my caseload, if you could believe that. And it was outpatient therapy. So I was really in the trenches. And I thought to myself, I just felt so incongruent. And I think people in the medical field can attest to this, that you teach others about self-care all day, and here you come last. I would meal prep. I would bring my water jug with me, but if I stopped between my session to eat, I was going to be late. If I went to the bathroom, I was going to be late. And so there was a hesitancy to take care of me before taking care of, I was always taking care of others, but there was a hesitancy in taking care of me. So around that time, I made a challenge to myself. I said, I'm going to do a bodybuilding show. It is going to force me to have to pay attention to myself enough to not embarrass myself when I walk across stage. So that was kind of the goal. I wasn't trying to place. I just wanted to feel like I did it, I belong here, and I didn't make a fool out of myself. So I started learning a bit about nutrition. I had already been going to the gym 7 days a week, but I was still sitting at about 33% body fat, and that was really discouraging for me. A friend of mine had just done a bodybuilding show the year before. She had a lot of arguments with her husband because during this time she was eating chicken and broccoli every day. And so she had come to me and she had said, I don't really know what's in this stuff, but I found this Isagenix and I'm not hangry. And I look after 3 weeks the way that I did after really working it for 3 months. So maybe this is something that you need to try. And I actually have my shake right here. I thought to myself, well, if I can drink my meal, that could be clinically acceptable. If I have my shake or my coffee, right, it's okay. to do that. So I would take it with me on the go, and I had fully committed that this was something that wasn't going to work for me. I was highly skeptical. And I see that Wendy's smiling because as therapists, we like to rely on empirically researched studies. And for me, I was my own case study. I ate everything out of the box. It wasn't even going to have a spot in my cabinet. And I really clung to that idea of having a 30-day money back guarantee. After the first 30 days, though, I was down 7 pounds. My energy was up. I stopped taking naps in my car. This was a huge thing because as an outpatient therapist in Arizona, not in the summer, mind you, but in the other months where it was cooler, if I came to my client's home and they weren't there at our appointed time, I would drive to the next street and I would take a nap in my car because I was exhausted from this caseload. So I had stopped doing that. I was actually getting ready to go to Fiji for our honeymoon. And it was the first time since puberty I had felt comfortable in a bikini. So that was really saying something to me. So I thought to myself, okay, I'm just going to do this for the duration of this bodybuilding show. And then I'll go back to, you know, what I was doing before. But once I got to the show and once I felt the way I felt on stage, I thought, why would I ever go back to feeling anything but absolutely incredible in my body, whether that was energy, whether that was, you know, the way I felt in my clothes. I just had this confidence about me. And around that time, my sister was a big motivation because she had said in the way that only a sister can, okay, bleep, what are you doing? Right? She had struggled with her weight loss her entire life. We'd done a lot of things together. I don't know if I can say all of the things that we've done here, but I'm sure many of you are familiar with the other companies that you can try. And but we hadn't found the thing. So she was like, what are you doing? I introduced her. Over the course of the next, I believe it was 8 months, she lost 35 pounds. My sister went from being a size 14 to a size 6. She hadn't been that small since high school, junior high rather. And then she got pregnant. And I watched her have this beautiful, healthy pregnancy without the puff. That was the big thing. Was she and I have always been taught by our mother and father how important exercising was. But when you're putting in that effort and you're not seeing the change, that was where the frustration was. So the fact that this gave me convenience, that I was seeing results, and then seeing my sister lose 35 pounds, have an extremely healthy pregnancy, and then proceed to lose over the course of where she had started from to where she got to, she had eventually lost 57 pounds. My sister is now a Zumba instructor. I was like, this is not about weight loss. This is about becoming yourself. Just like Robin and Wendy had talked about, when you really connect with you, you just show up better in the world, right? And I felt like she was showing up better in the world to serve more of her students. She's also a music teacher. I was showing better up in the world to serve my clients. And during this time, I also started working with some of my clients. I told you guys I worked with kids. So we had psychiatrists in the office, and I would go with my clients in this idea of having continued care to their psychiatry appointments. And the parent would say, well, I don't want my child on a higher dose of Seroquel, or I don't want my child on more Lexapro. They're 10. So I would interject and I'd say, if it's okay, can we look at some nutrition solutions, not specifically isogenics, but can I teach you guys how to read some labels? Can we understand, if we're nourishing our body, how that nourishes our mind? And I would go grocery shopping with them, and they started to learn some of these pieces. And I just felt like it was such an important tool that about 5 years ago now, is it 5? Yeah, 5 years ago, I moved out to California. My husband had taken a job here, and I thought, I'm burnt out on therapy for a little while. I want to be a trainer. So I got certified as a personal trainer. And I really started working on this holistic idea, this holistic approach. I started, my business is called Project Potential. We focus on grow, nourish, flex. Grow is about mindset. Nourish is about nutrition. Flex is about physical activity. And I specify physical activity because I think sometimes when there's a negative connotation to the words that we've heard, we miss the opportunity to have that growth. So rather than saying exercise, physical fitness is more doing those things you like whether that's hiking or dancing or swimming or trampolining, roller skating, right? It's finding something that feels like it's sustainable And so I started doing that, and eventually ended up kind of using all of those areas. So I now have been doing online therapy for the last 4 years, which actually is extremely convenient now that we are in this pandemic, because now I have a lot of in-person therapists that have asked me, you know, how do we do this online? But in doing that, what I'm doing is with my nutrition clients, we're also talking about mindset. What are the words that we're using around food? What are the words that we're using around activity that are preventing us, or that have kind of stopped it from sticking earlier on, right? Or if I'm meeting with my personal training clients, we're talking about, you know, what are those ideas again about nutrition, or what are those mindset ideas that have prevented us? Like, do I see myself as something other than what my goal is? And is that what's hindering or causing me to self-sabotage? So that's a little bit about my story. I'm not sure, did I miss slides?
No.
Okay, cool. So, so that's a little bit about my story. I do have with me, like I told you guys, this trusty shake is like what gets me through the day. This is my go-to. Like Steph told you, I've been doing this for over 6 years. So you really have to find something that you enjoy. This is chocolate mint. This is my go-to every day. I still crave it. It's amazing. But for a lot of people, they have different taste preferences. So what I like to is I've been able to get on Pinterest, and I find recipes. I love baking. I know a lot of us in the pandemic are doing a lot of baking. I actually just made my 12th sourdough loaf this week. And so what's really nice about that, cool, Steph's gonna pull something up. What's really nice about that is I can get creative with it. So recently my son's go-to has been yogurt at night. I'll do yogurt with a scoop of peach mango shake in it, or I like to do oatmeal with the pumpkin spice when the pumpkin spice is out, or I use, you know, the vanilla version of this as a creamer for my coffee. I cold press my coffee, leave some in the fridge. So it's really given me the flexibility to nourish myself. And what I've noticed is I am much more clear-headed, much more focused to be present for my clients when I am first taking care of myself. How many times do you get on a plane and you hear that you need to put on your mask before you put on someone else's? So this really has given me the opportunity to take care of me quickly so that I can take care of others. That was a transition that worked beautifully when I became a mom 3 years ago. So that's just a little bit about my story. If you guys have any questions, I'm here to answer, but I know Steph has said, like, this has served me in so many different ways. And one of the ways that I think it served me that's really surprised me was how, I don't want to say, I'm going to say this with quotes because I feel like I'm going to get a lot of hate mail for this, but like how easy my pregnancy was, relatively. And I say that also as a person who, little self-disclosure, had thought for about 2 decades of her life that she would have to adopt. I did have an ovary removed when I was very young. I've had to take extra good care of myself to make sure that my body was an excellent body for growing a baby, and I was rewarded for that. I did not have a lot of the really negative symptoms that a lot of my friends have had, the morning sickness, and really not a lot to complain about. A relatively easy delivery, again, easy, but a lot of those things that I had been anxious about for a really long time were eradicated. So that's just a little bit that I wanted to share with you guys today. I want to thank everybody for being here.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Oh my gosh, that was absolutely fantastic. And just check out the comments that are there. And Wendy and Robin, the same thing. You know, such important stories, talking about the nutrients for our children. And as our children are going back to school, we know that that's so important. And it makes a difference. And with 3 different children, 3 different scenarios, I have really noticed a difference with mine. And I had a different diet for each one of them. And I can tell you they behave in different ways. So it is so important to bring something like this on, like Sarah was saying, and then having that pregnancy and going through that and being able to bounce back so fast. So guys, I want to thank you guys so much. for being here, and all of our presenters, Wendy, Robin, Sara. Thank you for always being so vulnerable and real with our audience, and letting them know your struggles and what you've gone through, but how do you get out of it, or how you just make yourself into the best that you possibly can be. So we'll officially end tonight, and thank you all for being here. But however, as some of you know, we continue on with an after chat. Just in case there's a couple questions, we have about 6 minutes to do an after chat. If anyone has any questions, you've got 3 counselors on the line right now. So if anyone has something that maybe you're going through, or you'd like a little bit of advice that can be in a very short period of time, please go ahead and ask. Or as you heard, Sara, has used this nutrition to better her body, her mind, and her spirit in so many different ways throughout her life. And I will answer one question for Sara. Yes, that was a Samba picture. And so, Sara, that was a dream that Sara had always had. That was part of her wish list of becoming a Samba dancer. Do you want to just share that? And if anyone
Yeah,
has
that was
questions,
last year in San Francisco. And I think one of the things that I'm really grateful for that I made the time to do that is obviously the parade was canceled this year. And so that some of the dearest friendships that I have here in the Bay Area has been this connection to the Samba group. It's really elevating.
Right. And I love that. So as you guys are thinking of your questions, go ahead and either type it in, or if you want to just ask it. But, I love Sara's story because she had a goal. She had a goal for every single thing that she has achieved. I'm going to speak strictly on the isogenics and nutrition from that standpoint. But if you know Sara at all, she's probably had a goal from day one of her birth, and that she has put into progress and achieved. But she started because she wanted to do a bikini competition. She wanted to do that. She wanted to become pregnant. She wanted to have a healthy baby. She wanted to be a Samba dancer. She was also in roller derby. But it's just, she pushes herself, and she pushes herself to reach different levels all the time. And nutrition plays such a part in pushing yourself, and as well as those techniques that Wendy and Robin taught us earlier, the meditation, affirmations, journaling, thinking positively. All right, guys, we have 4 minutes. Does anyone have any questions or any comments that you would like to ask our presenters or share? I'll give you a couple minutes. If anyone does, feel free to just type it into the chat. I know, always such great stories, aren't they? All right, great. All right, well, if nobody has a question for tonight, I want to thank you.
Hold on a minute.
Oh, great.
I like how they did the meditation, because I've been under a lot of stress at work lately. I've been drinking this energy booster lately because I've been having so much energy the past couple days, and it's just been so stressful and crazy, and I do love drinking the energy booster. I tried the chocolate one too, the chocolate snacks, and I love them. So they're really good.
Right, the little snacks or the squares?
The snacks.
The snacks. Oh, I love you, Megan. Fabulous. So what Megan's talking about are the little ISIS snacks that sometimes we have to have arguments with our clients about, because not everyone wants to take them for different reasons, but these are the magic. And they absolutely are the magic for just keeping us stable, keeping us away from cravings, keeping that blood sugar levels very stable. And as a secret that I tell a lot of our customers, that's what melts fat. So if you are here for the weight loss, you just have to have those. So I'm so happy you love those, Megan. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, and that Wendy, do you want to go ahead and comment about Megan's comment with stress and the meditation? You're muted though.
Let me get off mute. I mean, I think that the stress that we're experiencing right now is like off the charts. So I'm so glad that the meditation helped. I mean, I find myself having to take 10 minutes throughout the day to just center and do something, whether it's one of these or one of our other ones that we created. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah, because yesterday I had a really bad morning on Tuesday that I really needed that meditation.
Nice. Well, glad we could be of service.
I can say, since I've been doing this, usually me and my daughter, we butt heads and yell with each other, but she lives at her dad's, but she's been over here so I can help her do this, and we're not butting heads, and I'm not yelling at her or, you know, which before I would yell at her. So it don't seem to be as stressful.
That's what we love. Happiness, joy, peace. It makes all the difference in
Well,
how we live our daily lives.
Well, my mom was mad that I didn't know how many powder I should put in the blender. And she was like, I'm still learning this whole shake thing.
Right.
I'm still getting used to it.
Yeah, it is a absolute learning process, and I'd be more than happy to help you with that, Megan. It is, everything about it is a learning process. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and close the call, but before we do that, I'm going to give one little testament to Wendy, so you guys have gotten to know her. And if you know me, Wendy has taught me a lot over the years, many many different things. But one of the things she has taught me is peace, and how to cover myself in a protective sheet. And she has taught me how to take myself into these moments of being able to just immediately find calmness, find peace, find the joy, and protect myself. And what we do with dealing with a lot of people, sometimes we're constantly with people, right? Sometimes I reach out to 100 people in a day, and there's lots of energy that goes back and forth when doing that. And I believe I've taught a couple of you this as well. And Wendy is the one, if you've ever heard me talk about the sheet, the white sheet that drapes down, that was all Wendy. And get the book. I'm going to just highly recommend making sure that you get that book. If you didn't get a chance to get your email in there, go ahead and send it to myself or Trisha Kimberly. And we'll make sure that Wendy and Robin get that. But they have a lot of techniques. And that white sheet that Wendy taught me about a long time ago was one where I needed to be protected. And I just use that. I use that in so many different ways with my family, with my children, just in daily life, to be able to protect myself. And all three of our presenters tonight just have so many different gifts to give. And so I'm glad you guys got a chance to meet them. But go ahead and get the book. Watch Sarah's meditations that she does on Wednesday. They have so much to give, so much, and they're so willing to give it. And I can't thank you guys enough for being willing to open up your hearts and your soul, both on the receiving as well as the giving end tonight. I want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you for sharing this amazing journey with so many people. And let's all come back next Thursday.
Stephanie.
And learn more about our families. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording for a second, Megan. And let's go ahead and come back and really enjoy the opportunities that each person has to give, whether, again, receiving or giving. Thank you guys so much for being here.